What's up gamers, Dreamcastguy here, reviewing today Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Do not buy this game. If you just randomly stumbled upon this video and you're curious if this project is actually worth the price, do not buy this game. What we have here is easily the very worst writing I've seen in all of 2019. The story here makes absolutely no sense. But beyond that, this actually has some incredibly insidious microtransactions that allow you to purchase actual guns, which makes it pay to win, helicopters, so you can just fly across the map with giant machine guns, and even things like purchasing in-game currency with real-life cash. This game is absolutely evil in so many different aspects. So what we're going to be doing is actually going through it section by section and really trying to figure out how this game is actually so busted it cannot be fixed. Nothing can patch together a game this flawed. If you haven't already, please press that subscribe button and that like button if you haven't already. But now let's get into Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I want to start off by really analyzing the writing because the storyline is certainly what got me the most interested in this project initially. I really like storylines that make you think, that kind of exist in the gray areas, the things that sort of make you question life and reality, and specifically war. The bad guy in this game is actually an evil Ghost Recon. It's the guy actually from The Walking Dead, and while he is a phenomenal actor, they gave him basically no work to actually tinker with. The script is completely abysmal. Basically, you're a bunch of guys who have been sent to this private island. This dude who is essentially Mark Zuckerberg, a super billionaire, has purchased his own private paradise, and here they have their own fully functioning reality. These people have their own money, they have their own jobs, they have their own ecosystem, they have their own power, they have their own food. This really is their own little world that nobody else is allowed on. Well, when they're trying to fly in, suddenly there's some sort of weird giant mysterious attack happens and all of our Ghost Recon dudes are crashed on this island, and now they have to try and figure out what happened. And it turns out that this bad guy is behind all of it. He's an evil Ghost Recon guy. But this actually doesn't make sense. So basically, this game isn't really that long. I mean, doing a lot of the main missions and the side missions, you can kind of finish everything in about 15 hours, which isn't really that long. I mean, I actually found myself really pumping through this at a really quick pace because really almost everything is just fly to a mission, steal a target, take out a computer, fly back to base. That's pretty much what you do over and over and over again. But what happens is a lot of the storyline tries to build up the idea that you are actually going against the most dangerous foes ever. These are actually evil Ghost Recons. These are the military gone bad. But here's the issue. The people we're fighting against are incredibly stupid. If I'm supposed to believe that these are actually the most elite soldiers on the planet, people who are just so genius that they decided to actually go rogue, I mean, why are these people so dumb? The programmed AI is just such a laughable mess. Like, let me show you. At the end of one of the really long quest chains, you're basically busting a bunch of people out of prison. I'm not going to explain who they are or why, because that is kind of spoilers, but basically, you end up trying to drive down the highway, and they're driving the truck, and you're manning the machine gun, and you're trying to shoot at a bunch of enemy opponents. But here's the thing, the bad guys are actually programmed that if a bullet hits the car, they automatically stop and investigate. So literally, getting through this incredibly difficult event that's clearly supposed to be a major boss fight at the end of a big part of the story, I did this without being touched. Flawlessly, because as soon as I even touched their vehicles, they would stop and everybody gets out. You can see these people aren't dead, they're literally stepping out of the vehicle. But you know what? This actually persists throughout the entire game. For some reason, what's really kind of annoying is we're supposed to assume that these guys have managed to go bad because they've just been at war so long. They're just the most incredibly rigid soldiers who have somehow been corrupted by the battlefield. But why do they have no battle experience? Why are these people so dumb? There are literally thousands of evil soldiers on this island. Is this like 80% of the military? I literally don't understand why This is just such a badly put together premise that doesn't make sense. But the biggest issue actually underlies that. So the reason that all these guys have come to this particular island is because Mark Zuckerberg has a bunch of super technology, but specifically actually drones, lots and lots of drones. So the enemies you're fighting, the combat is pretty balanced. If you're actually trying to shoot people, there's like this RPG mechanic where your guns actually can level up, you're getting different loot, and each thing is a different style of weapon. Well, that all makes sense. We've actually seen systems like this not only in other shooters, but even in previous Ghost Recon games. The way this sort of balances out, though, is that if you're fighting another human, if you shoot them in the head, they die no matter what. Even if somebody is actually level 200 and you're level 43, which is literally the exact case that's happening right here, if I shoot somebody in the head, congratulations, they are dead. No big problem. It makes it where trying to actually sneak into bases initially seems very, very nicely done. But the problem is the GKRs, the giant killer robots. I don't know why, but basically, the drones in this game, they really range in scale from tiny little drones that look like something a kid would get on Christmas, except that it has a machine gun attached, all the way up to humongous Terminator tanks that have 10 million health. This stuff drives me nuts because every time I'm doing a mission, I really have no idea what I'm in for. Is this going to be a balanced match that has me sneaking through a CEO's mansion, trying to get clues and outsmart a series of opponents that are each tracking me room by room? This is cool. Actually going against a mega tank that's cruising across the frozen tundra and will kill me the minute it sees me and can even shoot rocket launchers that can actually home behind rocks. This stuff is aggravating to me because it doesn't make sense. Why is it that you're trying to make a game that has such wildly different stuff? Oh wait, the reason they did this, and I'm dead serious, is because of the microtransactions. The GKRs, the giant killer robots, are clearly all here to sell you an extra product. This game costs $60. If you wanted to play it early, you paid $100. But if you actually want to win, you need to grind for hours and hours and hours, getting those incremental upgrades, those tiny little things that let you tweak your guns and get stronger, or you can just swipe your credit card. Let's go over to the store here, shall we? This is the Ubisoft Play Store and allows you to actually purchase pretty much every single item in the game right at the start. Do you want a sniper rifle that does 50,000 damage? Well, there it is. You can buy it for 10 bucks. Oh, do you want to make sure you have the absolute best scope in the game? Well, here's a pack for that. Are you having trouble just in general transit? Well, you can purchase exact vehicles for a real life price tag. You can also get cosmetic skins, and I'm sure some people are going to be like, well, you don't have to buy it. Here's the thing, the game is definitely trying to instigate you being pushed towards these purchases. In fact, something they do that definitely makes me personally the most angry as somebody who played a bunch of this game, they actually have weapon upgrades behind a paywall, which is basically, so while I'm playing this game, I actually unlocked a lot of really powerful guns. About 10 hours into this game, I started getting some mega super weapons that were very fun to use, and blowing people apart was exciting, but I noticed that getting the raw materials to upgrade this stuff was a very slow and tedious grind. But if I wanted, I could go to the Play Store and immediately purchase instant upgrades, instant weapon parts, pretty much anything that would make my already strong gear even stronger was possible with the simple swipe of a credit card. They even have the audacity to call this boosters. How can you possibly think that this is balanced? How can you have a story that's just so badly written? Why do you have every stupid soldier in the entire planet on a tiny freaking island, and yet somehow they're smart enough to drive giant killer drones? This is just such a dumpster fire. I'm going to say something nice about it though, which is that the part of this game that I think does shine is the design of the island itself. How the little cities and little neighborhoods are actually constructed is genuinely magnificent. When I'm actually out there, there were some really good moments where I just found myself actually feeling the pressure because of how they set things up geographically. Like at one point I actually had to try and sneak into this giant server center, and I was basically pinned down because I accidentally tripped an alarm. And here I am, I'm on the second floor, the exit is on the first floor, and as I'm sitting here trying to reload all my guns for what I think may be a mad dash, I had to make a decision. Do I want to try and rush these enemies and stab them and maybe survive, or do I want to just throw myself off the balcony and sprint for the exit? Trying to make this decision in such a tense moment was great, but I still feel like these things just don't happen enough. Because the AI is so stupid, you don't really get a chance to actually experience the full limits of this game. And additionally, I had the problem of, this is supposed to be a mostly multiplayer experience, but the Ubisoft servers kept crashing. I played 95% of my time, I was fully solo, simply because actually getting into lobbies and stuff was completely impossible. I kept seeing this error message that said, hey, sorry, you can't right now. So maybe if you actually fix your servers and somehow try and fix this game, I might come back. But for now, I am dead finished with Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Okay, so we've heard some good and some bad, but let's go over the ratings board and put a big number on it. I am giving Ghost Recon Breakpoint a 5 out of 10. I could seriously talk about how bad this game is for an entire hour, just because there's so many things in this that don't make sense, but by far, the thing that personally got under my skin the most is that the story sort of hints like it's going to try and actually handle some mature themes. There's torture in here, there's actual questions of morality, and it never follows through on any of them, because this game was written by cowards. Do yourself a favor, Ubisoft, if you're gonna make serious games, be serious. Thanks so much for watching, gamers. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.